Hello, my name is Alyssa Radwick, and today I will be talking about the theories of communication, but more focusing on the show Black Mirror. So let me pull up my presentation. So my whole idea was to talk about how people are influenced by social media. We can be influenced through television, movies, apps. A lot of people feel more pressured and have more of a influence just because of social media. So I decided to tie in a few communication theories that correspond with social media, and I decided to choose cultivation theory and diffusion theory. So cultivation theory. Cultivation theory is the theory that TV and social media influence our thoughts, beliefs, and actions. So the more you watch something, the more you start to think and kind of adapt to what you're watching. If a character may be depressed or go through something, you could have the thoughts and the feelings of depression, just like the characters. But cultivation theory as cultivation as a macro level system of explanation about mass media was introduced by George Gerbner, who then assembled a research team to help him conduct a series of empirical tests of his system of explanation. By the 1970s, other media scholars were attracted to the idea of cultivation, and within 4 decades, the cultivation literature grew to well over 500 published studies. So I also decided to tie in cultivation theory with mirroring since I am trying to go more into psychology. Well, mirroring is basically a psychology version of cultivation theory. Mirroring is something we do with people we like or are interested in. We copy their body language, their speech, their facial expressions, and more. So people mirror television shows and adapt mannerisms, actions, words, and thoughts. So just like what I saw in cultivation theory, you can adapt the feelings of another character. Maybe if a character walks and talks a total different way than you do, you might begin to feel like not you are that character, but you might feel the same exact feelings and mannerisms of that character. So I went and chose a few episodes that go along with the theories. And the first the first episode I chose was Nosedive from Black Mirror. So the main character is Lacey. She's in a world that's not too far off from where we are, and they run their lives with a rating system. The rating system influences everybody's social status, their wealth, job, opportunities, friends, and just opportunities in general. You have to be at a certain ranking to get certain things. So for if you want a nice job, you have to be above a 4.5 out of 5 to get a nice job. A plane, there's specific levels that you are on. So like the highest level you can be on for an airplane, like an airplane ticket, the highest level you can buy a ticket on, you have to be at a certain rating to get that. And if not, then you're bumped down to the lowest class. So for this, I tied in cultivation back. And as you can see by the pictures, so social media in the episode has influenced everyone. Everyone is trying to be perfect. The only acceptable thing that they can do to fit in is be fake. So as you can see here in this picture, you can see her rating is a 4.2. She is staring into the mirror and she's laughing. She's practicing her fake laugh to make herself look perfect. So some examples I found from the show was the coffee and the cookie. And now I know a lot of people on social media take pictures of food and post it. But in this instance, she took a picture of she took a cookie, she bit it, spit out the cookie that she ate, set the half-bitten cookie next to her coffee, took a picture, tried to drink the coffee, but started gagging from it because it was so disgusting for her. So she never intended to actually eat or drink anything that she got. She just wanted the extra ratings to boost her rating up. Also, everybody and herself is constantly rating everybody 5 stars. The more that you rate someone 5 stars, the more likely they are to rate you 5 stars back, which is which is exactly what you need to be on that level. Now going into the actual meaning of Black Mirror. So Black Mirror as a whole, everything in it is what was described by the maker of Black Mirror. He described it as basically a new age technology based on its own. And the actual meaning behind Black Mirror is when your TV, your phone, your laptop, your computer, all of that is off, and it's just almost everybody has one in their home. So when it's just off and you look into it with nothing on the screen, you're looking into a black mirror and you can see your reflection back. Now going into this part, the cracking, I had my own idea of what the cracking behind the black mirror represents, since everything is social media based and everything, like I said, is influenced by social media. Everyone in this show and many other shows are influenced to be perfect and try to look like they're living the best life that they can live, even if they're not. So these people are breaking and cracking, and the system of the world is breaking because no one is free to do what they want to do anymore in a lot of these episodes. Also, I feel like it is showing you what can happen just in this opening. If we go down the path we are with technology, maybe our systems can start breaking and cracking. Now, diffusion theory. So diffusion is a process by which an innovation is communicated through certain channels over time among the member of a social system. And then an innovation is an idea, practice, or object perceived as new by an individual or other unit of adoption. With this, I found 2 episodes that really went along with it, since there are 5 steps. And the 5 steps are awareness, the individual has to be exposed; interest, the idea has to arouse the individual; evaluation, the individual must consider the idea as potentially useful; trial, the individual tries out the idea on others; and adoption. This represents final acceptance of the idea after having successfully passed through the 4 earlier stages. Okay, and now on to the first episode I chose, Hang the DJ. So this episode is set in a world where a dating device called Coach decides your perfect match. So the characters go through multiple partners, and the Coach system evaluates them through every relationship and gathers information about them to give them their final match. And the characters that are the main characters in this show are Frank and Amy. So I'll move my so the first part, Frank and Amy are exposed to the idea of the coach dating when they go on their first date together. Once they go on their first date, they both acknowledge to each other that they've never gone on one of these dates before, and this is all very new to them. So once they talk for a while, they gain interest in dating experience, leaving and going to spend some more time alone together, since they see that, you know what, maybe this entire process will work because there's such good chemistry between them both. So they decide to just keep going on with it. But they find out that they only have 12 hours together. So after their time is up, they end up having to go through more relationships, which Amy does see as beneficial, but Frank does not. Amy ends up with, when she's at the restaurant waiting for her new match, she ends up meeting a very handsome guy that she thinks is very handsome, very interested in him. Frank, on the other hand, he met with a girl. She was extremely rude to him, and whenever he tried to make a joke, her instinct comment was, "Oh, you're one of those that makes jokes, now are you?" Wasn't interested at all. Was just there because she kind of had to be. Amy and her match got 9 months together. They got told that they will have 9 months together from the coach up. Now Frank and his date ended up having a year together, which did very much hurt Frank. He did not want to be in this relationship with her. So Amy goes to the trial period. Amy goes to the trial period. She's with him for about 9 months. Then it ends, and she ends up having at least 20 other partners. Still trying to find her perfect match, and each of these partners were 12, maybe at the most 12 hours long of dating. None of them lasted more than a day. And then so Frank ended up at the end of his relationship, and he got rematched with Amy, which they were both really excited about. But Frank prematurely checked the date, which they decided they weren't going to, and it went from 10 years of dating to 72 hours. They ended up breaking up prematurely, and they were both told that next day that their perfect match was found. So once they had both been paired with their perfect match, they get to see one last person for closure, and they end up picking each other, and they decide they're gonna run away because they want to be together. And there's a guard that tries to taser them, and Amy's like, no, puts her hand on the taser, and nothing happens, and the entire world freezes, and they run away, jump over the giant wall that's keeping them in the community, and they realize it's a simulation, and they escape it. Now, that was diffusion for that episode. So the next diffusion is Archangel. This one was very interesting to me. So there's an app called, the whole episode is about an app called Archangel. The app can track a child, see their vitals, and see everything the child sees, even blocking images if the parent wants the images blocked. So the episode follows a mother named Marie and her daughter Sarah. So one day, Maria is out with her daughter Sarah at the park. Sarah runs away, and following a cat, mom and the whole neighborhood go looking for her. She ends up finding her, but so in shock of what happens, she finds Archangel. Now she takes Sarah to Archangel and shows interest in the system once the doctor shows her everything that comes into play. So seeing what the system offers, Marie decides on using the device. So they take a needle and they put the chip into Sarah. So for a few years, so from about 3 years old till say 10 years old, Marie uses the system. And at the beginning, it was great in her trial, but she ended in error once Sarah started to self-harm, because anything disturbing any kind of blood, anything that wasn't appropriate would get blurred out. So she couldn't even see when she got a long paper cut. So her mom ended up getting rid of the system. And after that, didn't have the system for 5 more years. And once 5 years hit, the mom reopened up the app, and this is where the extra error comes in, because the daughter finds out that her mom has been watching her. She got message that Sarah was pregnant, and she slipped a pill into Sarah's drink so she could not have the baby. And that's how she found out. And that day she came home, looked for the device, found the device, saw that it was still on. The mom came home a little while later, saw that the house was destroyed from her looking for what she was looking for. And Sarah kind of snapped and beat her mother with the device to where the device was now turned off, and the actual handheld device was not working anymore. It was shattered and smashed. So Sarah ends up running away. So now my conclusion. So cultivation theory can affect anyone. Through social media, television, movies, and the character, of course, Lacey, she's trying to fit this perfect image that everyone's trying to fit just to survive in the world. But to do this, she has to be fake. Diffusion theory, which what I said is process of awareness, interest, evaluation, trial, and adoption. Amy and Frank, they are aware of the app that's the dating app. They're interested in the app and wanting to date each other and see how it happens. Evaluation, they're going through the app and figuring out what's happening. Trial, they are actually dating. And then adoption, finally figuring out what the end game is. Same with Marie and Sarah. The awareness that Marie has that her daughter needs more protection, so she gets he figures out the archangel interest. She finds interest in it once the doctor shows her all of the accessories that comes along with it. Evaluation, she evaluates the whole system, realizes this is what I need to do for my daughter. Trial, she gives it a go for a couple years. She does it for 7 years, stops for 5, then does it for a few months. In adoption, she ends up finding her end game is her daughter leaving her, and the machine broke and she cannot track her daughter now, so she has no clue where she went. Back to mirroring. So mirroring is basically just like cultivation theory, but from a psychology standpoint, the person is basically like a character in front of them they're standing in front of the mirror, and on the other side of the mirror they see the character's actions, the character's mannerisms, and the character's thoughts, feelings, and they're adapting to them. And then finally, Black Mirror, the entire show as a whole is a technology-based Twilight Zone. And a Black Mirror is a computer screen, so whenever you look into your own technology, you're looking into the idea of Black Mirror. And the shattered screen that is projected into the thought of that we use technology like this. Something's gonna crack, something's gonna break. It's not supposed to end up like that. When you watch this is a not too distant future, but we can not have to have that be the end game. These are my references. Okay. Well, I hope everybody enjoyed my presentation. It took me a while to get all this information and get everything organized, and but everybody's having a good day. Thank you.